Chapter 5. The Counterfeit and the True Perfection of Wisdom. When a bodhisattva reveals form, perception, feeling, will, or thought as impermanent, claiming that they are destroyed, in the counterfeit perfection of wisdom he courses, considering not wisely, because the learned never affect the destruction of a dharma. Wherein of form, of feeling, or perception, or consciousness, or will, there is no apprehension. By the method of emptiness and non-production, he cognizes all dharmas. That is the practice of wisdom, the foremost perfection. Perfect wisdom greater than any other spiritual gift. If someone would discipline in arhatship as many beings as there are in fields equal to the sands of the river Ganges, and if someone else, having copied this perfection of wisdom, would give the book to another being, his would be the more distinguished merit. For what reason? The Supreme Teacher is trained in this. Make all dharmas intelligible in this emptiness. When they have learned that the disciples speedily experience their own kind of emancipation, others experience Prajnaparamita enlightenment, others gain the Buddha enlightenment. Importance of the thoughts of enlightenment. Where there is no sprout, there can in the world be no tree. How can therein be the production of branches, leaves, fruits, or flowers? Without aspiration for enlightenment, there is no possibility of a jina in the world. How then could Sakra, Brahma, fruit, and disciples manifest themselves? When the orb of the sun sends forth a multitude of light, then beings exert themselves in doing their work. So when the thought of enlightenment has come into being for the sake of knowing the world, through its cognition all the dharmas of quality are assembled. If there were no chief of the serpents in this Anavatapta lake, how could there be here in Jambudvipa a flowing along of the rivers? And if there were no rivers, fruits and flowers could not possibly be. And there would also be no manifold jewels in the oceans. So, if there were no thought of enlightenment, how could there be the flowing along of the cognition of the Tathagata in all these worlds? And if there is no cognition, there can be no growth of the virtues, no enlightenment, nor the ocean-like dharmas of the Buddha, the sun and the firefly. If all the light-emitting animals everywhere in this world would, for the purpose of illumination, shed light, one single ray issued from the orb of the sun outshines them all, and infinitesimal would be all the luster of the hosts of light-emitting animals. Chapter 6. Supreme Merit of Dedication and Jubilation. However much merit the hosts of disciples may beget, associated with giving, morality, and meditational development. But if a bodhisattva rejoices with a single thought, there would, by comparison, be no mass of merit in all the hosts of the disciples. The range of jubilation. If we take the nayutas of kotis of Buddhas who have gone by in the past period of time, and those who just now abide in endlessly many thousands of kotis of Buddha fields, and also those saviors of the world who, having gone to parinirvana, will demonstrate the jewel of Dharma for the sake of the complete extinction of suffering. If we consider the merit of those jinas during the period, beginning with the first production of the thought of the foremost enlightenment, until the time of the extinction of the good dharma of the guides, and the dharmas connected with the perfections, and also the Buddha dharmas, and also the merit of the offspring of the Buddhas and of the disciples, be they in training or adepts, with outflows or without. Having heaped it all up, the bodhisattva rejoices at it, and turns it all over to the enlightenment which is linked to the wheel of the world. True and false turning over. When in one who turns over there proceeds the perception of a thought, or if the turning over of the perception of enlightenment involves the perception of a being, established in perception, false views, and thought, it is tied by the triple attachment. It does not become turned over to those who apprehend it. But when he thus cognizes, these dharmas are extinct and stopped, and therein they are turned over, that is also extinct. Nor is ever anywhere a dharma turned over into a dharma. Then it does become turned over in one who thus considers wisely. When he makes a sign, he does not turn over to enlightenment. But if he turns to it as the signless, that becomes turned over into enlightenment. Just as though food mixed with poison were good to eat, so has the taking of pure dharmas as a basis been spoken of by the jina. Therefore thus should one train in turning over, as the jinas wisely know that wholesome root, its class as it is, its origin as they are, its characteristics as they are. Thus do I rejoice in that wholesome root, thus do I turn it over. And thus turning merit over into enlightenment, he does not upset the Buddha, who preaches what the jina has taught. As many as there are in the world bodhisattvas who lean on a basis, all of them surpass the hero who turns over in this way. Chapter 7. Perfect wisdom guides the other perfections. How can those Nayutas of Kotis of born blind, who are without a guide, who are not conversant with the way, find an entrance to the city? Without wisdom these 5 perfections are eyeless. Those who are without the guide are unable to experience enlightenment. When they are taken hold of by wisdom, then, having gained the eye, do they get that designation of perfection. It is like a religious painting of a deity or a saint, which is complete except for the eyes. Only after the eyes are painted in does one get one's fee. The attitude to dharmas and to the self. When one who develops wisdom to the end does not seize on the least dharma, conditioned or unconditioned, dark or bright, then one comes to speak in the world of the perfection of wisdom, which is like space, wherein nothing real whatsoever is established. When he thinks, I course in the wisdom of the jinas, I will set free Nayutas of beings touched by many ills. This bodhisattva is one who imagines the notion of beings, and this is not the practice of wisdom, the foremost perfection. Faith in the perfection of wisdom. The bodhisattva who has observed this foremost perfection, when in the past he served the Buddhas, is learned and does not doubt. As soon as he has heard it, he will again recognize the teacher, and he will swiftly understand the peaceful calm of enlightenment. Though in the past he has honored millions of Buddhas and served them, if without faith in the jina's perfection of wisdom, hearing of it he will cast it away, one of small intelligence. After he cast it away, he will go to the Avicii hell, and none can save him. Therefore have faith in this mother of all the jinas, if you wish to experience the utmost Buddha cognition. Let him be like a merchant who has traveled to the treasure island, and who, having lost his goods, would nevertheless again return. Chapter 8. The meaning of purity. The purity of form should be known from the purity of fruit. From the purity of form and fruit is the purity of all knowledge. The purity of all knowledge and of the fruit and the purity of form, as with the sameness of the space element, they are not broken nor cut apart. Having transcended what belongs to the triple world, the bodhisattvas, although their defilements are removed, exhibit their rebirth. Although freed from decay, illness, and death, they exhibit decease. This is the perfection of wisdom in which the course the constantly wise. This world is attached to the mud of name and form. The wheel of birth and death revolves similar to a wind-wheel. Having cognized the revolving world as like a snare for wild beasts, the wise roam about similar to the birds in space. He who, cursing perfectly pure, does not course in form, nor in consciousness, perception, feeling, or will, thus coursing he shuns all attachments. Freed from attachments, he courses in the wisdom of the Shugatas.